Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to episode 10 of Paranormal Activities with your host, Ben Axe. I'm coming at you here live for the very first time via video streaming, I guess. And technically, it's not live. I am recording it and then uploading it. However, I wanted to be live tonight for the first time ever to tell my very own ghost story or paranormal story or whatever it is you want to call it. I actually wanted to do my very first episode of Paranormal Activities telling this story. It happened in 2014 through 2015. Not my first experience, not my last experience, but it was a big one. It's a good one. A lot of stuff went down. Unfortunately, when I started doing this show, I was sick with the COVID-19 actually, and I wanted to get it going. I had a few interviews already done, and I wanted it to get going, so I just rushed through it. Don't remember doing it, but here I am. And for those of you without the benefit of video, or if you're like me and only listen to podcasts when you're in your car, don't worry. I'm also doing it audio and also uploading it to all my links, all my platforms, whatever, Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever. And I did want to do it live, but unfortunately I'm an old man and couldn't figure it out in time. However, I'm not going to record any of this. I'm actually going to upload it here tonight. So it's not going to be any editing. Whatever you hear, that's what it's going to be. So if I fuck up, I fuck up. But yeah, so again, this is what I wanted to start the podcast with. Didn't happen. And unfortunately, we are 10 episodes later. But better than late than never, I think. And going forward too with this video stuff, I'm kind of figuring it out as I go along. I'm on my older computer here, so it's probably still a little bit grainy. But I'll progress as I go along, right? That's the goal, right? So no paranormal activity this week. I don't really have one. I've been a busy man, dude. Like my wife and I, busy. Up at 4:30 in the morning, running around all the time working. So really we haven't had a whole lot of time for an activity of the week. But that's okay. Oh, also real quick for you guys watching the video, check her out. That's her. That's my friend. I don't know her name. She just kind of hangs out here. But she's a Halloween decoration. I'm in my garage or studio, so you'll see all kinds of weird shit in here. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and just tell you my very own ghost, demon, whatever story. I have told it on the Moose Point, so if you have heard of that podcast, I have told it. And I have nothing written down. I'm just doing this from pure memory. So things might be different, things might be backwards, things might be in different order. Honestly, I'm telling it the best that I can from what I remember. And I've had a lot of beer and a lot of whiskey since then, so bear with me. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get started here. Oh, before though, I do want to say thank you guys for listening. It's been awesome so far. Thanks if you're watching the video. This is my first video ever, actually, especially by myself, so I'm probably a little nervous. I probably suck. So thanks for watching anyway. I hope you're all staying safe during this coronavirus nonsense. I'm about sick of it myself. So hope you're all doing good. And again, thanks for listening. Hit subscribe. Go to your favorite podcasting platform. Hit subscribe. And tell your friends and tell your family. But finally, here we go. So here's my big demon whatever ghost story. So back in, it would have been early 2013. That's not true. Late 2013. Like, I think November or December, I started dating this chick, and she had 3 kids. I know. Red flag already. But, so she had 3 kids, and I was an idiot, and I was bored, and I was lazy in my hometown. So I was like, yeah, screw it. Let's date. Why not? I thought she was hot at the time. So, yeah, so we started dating, whatever. And then we decided to move in together. So we find a house. And then full disclosure, I gotta tell you guys everything. I think it kind of makes sense to a point, but I really at the time didn't really want to. I just felt like I had to. It was it was one of them. I was the asshole in this scenario, I guess. But like she moved from a different state and stuff, so it was like all right. Like I knew her. We worked together. Then she moved back to her hometown, and then she came back, and that's when we started dating or whatever. But so I kind of felt like we had to. So we started looking at houses. And in July of 2014, her and I moved into a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. It was in a nice little neighborhood. very stereotypical little house. It was just remodeled, like the landowner, landlord, whatever. He remodeled the whole thing. It was a pretty nice little house. Um, I'm getting background noise all of a sudden. But nice little house. We moved in, and we had some issues with the U-Haul truck. We had to go pick one up in the other state that she's from. I'm sending any names here. We had to go pick up the truck, and that wasn't where it was supposed to be. It was in a piece of shit town, and it was just negative already. But we got it figured out. We got to the house. We unpacked, and at this point, her and I were already fighting. So the first night that we stayed together in this house, we actually slept in different rooms. So obviously, it's already kind of negative going in. And it wasn't that her and I didn't get along. It was just everything was just a big stress ball already. And again, at the same time, I really didn't even want to be doing it. So I'm sure I wasn't pleasant all of the time, which that's on me. Whatever. So moved into this house, and it's all good to go now. And then we're not fighting anymore. We make up pretty quick. Like, oh, wow, it was stupid. You're just driving, whatever. And unpacked the house. We unpacked everything in pretty much one day. We had a couple of friends come over. We got it all pretty much set up pretty quickly. And it was a master bedroom. That was where her and I slept. And then it had, a bathroom attached to that room. And then there was a hallway that led down. And in the hallway, there was one of the kids' room and another kid's room. And then a bathroom on the other side of the hallway. And then far down was the living room, kitchen, whatever. That's the basic layout. It comes into play a little bit. So we're moved in. We're good to go, right? So then, I swear to God, the first morning that I wake up and take a shower when we're all settled. The first night, I don't recall this being a thing, but I remember the first day after being settled. I got up, took a shower to get ready for work like I do, and I got out of the shower, and the bathroom mirror was all fogged up, and there was writing all down the line. The whole mirror was covered in writing, and the only word that we could make out was Christmas. And I got out of the shower, I looked at the mirror, I was like, holy shit. It's like, hey, come check this out. So she came in, and we both could make out the word Christmas, but that was it. Kind of weird, whatever. So we didn't really think anything of it. We went ahead and we cleaned the mirror. I wiped it down. I cleaned it as whatever, Windex or whatever I used, and cool. So then the next morning, I'll wake up, take a shower, get out of the shower, look at the mirror. And again, it's fogged up, and it has the exact same writing in the exact same places, and it looks brand new, just like it did the morning before. So I was like, we cleaned that mirror yesterday. Now, I'm not a cleaning expert. I was like, oh, I suck at cleaning. I don't know what to tell you. So, wiped it off, and then I, Windex it again. And then this went on for at least a week. Every morning for about a week, I'd get up, see the writing, and it looked the exact same. Like it didn't look any different. It didn't look faded. It looked the same. We didn't even try to touch it. So that was weird. And that was in, still July, maybe early August. But yeah, I didn't think, obviously at the time I didn't think paranormal. But at this time, I forgot to mention when we moved in, it was she had three kids, 2 girls and a boy. Girl, boy in that order. And when we first moved in, we just had the boy. The girls were staying with their grandparents, whatever, for the first 2 weeks that we lived there. So, and then in August, like mid-August, the girls came back, and or I guess came there for the first time. So that's when we all officially 5 lived there. And at this point, they moved back, or they moved in, and we only saw the mirror stuff. That was it so far. Still, my mind was not thinking ghost or paranormal. And that being said, I don't really recall at this time having a weird feeling about the house. If you listen to my other episodes, I've talked about how you can just get that feeling. And I lived in a house where I had that feeling pretty much constantly. At this point, I don't recall having that feeling at all. Just saying. Not sure if that matters or not, because that's not always 100% accurate. So they moved back in here, and then now here's where, if you guys listen to episode, I think 5, maybe 6, I don't remember the number now, but we had Andy on, and she was talking about how her daughter had some ghost stuff happen around her. She's part of this next part of the story. She's my alibi, if that makes sense. So at the time I worked loss prevention retail, and I had to get up early on a Saturday morning to go into the store early. And I'm laying in bed, me and her are laying next to each other. We had friends playing because since I was in junior high, basically, I've always had friends on when I sleep to this day. I'm 32 years old now, and I still watch Friends to go to sleep. But yeah, so it was a late Friday night, early Saturday morning. We're sleeping to Friends, and I wake up at 4:30 ish in the morning, and I look up, I look down like it was our bed, and then space, and then the TV. So I wake up and I look towards the TV, and I see a woman in a long white like nightgown or a long white gown with long black frizzy hair, and I can see through her. She's not solid. I see through her, and it's very stereotypical. And it's funny because I've been listening to a different podcast. It's a pretty good show that would basically just talk about ghost stories, and like every other person sees the same thing. And I didn't know that back in 2014, but now that I'm hearing it, apparently everybody sees the same fucking thing. But so I look down, I see the lady with long black frizzy hair and a white nightgown standing at the end of the bed, just staring at me and her, or me, I guess. And I look at her, and I look down at my pillow. I close my eyes, and I say to myself, "Nope." Like I did not just see that. Nope. I fucked that. Like I saw it and I was done. I didn't even really react. I'm going back. Like I'm just laying here now, and I actually did doze back off. And then I woke back up around 7, and I got up. I took a shower. And I went to work, and everybody in the house was still asleep. I did not talk to anybody in that house. My girlfriend at the time, her kids, nobody. So I went to work, and I was in the office, and Andy, who was on the show, she came in, and I told her, I was like, dude. Now she came in like a couple hours after me, so it's it's a little bit later in the day now, noon or so, I would say. And she comes in, and I told her just what I told you guys. I looked up, saw her, said, nope, fuck that, And I shit you not, as I finished telling the story, at the very end of it, my girlfriend calls me. And she's like, dude, I was in the bathroom in the hallway, like not the master bathroom where Amir was, but the other bathroom in the hallway. She said I was standing there, and I saw a woman in a white nightgown with long black frizzy hair walk past the door. Like she said she was doing her hair, and at the corner of her eye in the hallway, she saw this lady walk past. Didn't look at her or anything, just walked past the door like she was walking towards the bedroom. And, she said she leaned out the door and there's nobody there. And I was like, holy shit. I saw the exact same thing 8 hours ago. Like, we saw the exact same description, the exact same ghost, I guess is the word to use for that scenario. Like, we saw the exact same thing. I didn't tell her about my sighting. And Andy could verify that. So, yeah, so holy shit. So we both saw the same ghost within 8 hours of each other. And this was still the first month that we had moved in. Like, it was pretty quick. So that was weird. And then going forward now, we lived in this house for about a year and a half. So going forward, there's a lot of little stuff that adds up to the big stuff. So that was a big one. And then after that, we started just hearing knocks like on the floor. Like it was all wood floor. We had area rugs in the hallways and living room and stuff, but we just hear knocking, creaking, not really banging, just like knocking. And then at one point, and this is another thing that recently got validated that makes me not so uncomfortable to tell this story, because it was one of those things I just thought it was fucking weird and couldn't really explain it and just thought it sounded dumb. But now other people are saying it. It's like, oh, I'm not crazy. But one thing that I experienced a few times, and it happened in the morning when I was in bed by myself. So if it was a day that I was in bed by myself and everybody else got up early, like when the kids went to school and she had to go wherever she was going, and I'd still be in bed by myself, early enough, or late enough, I guess, that it's light out now, but early enough to where, it's still acceptable to be in bed as an adult, like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., whatever. But I'd wake up to whispering in my ear, like whispering, like I just hear like somebody or multiple people having a conversation like right next to me. So I'd wake up hearing that, and then it would snap me awake. I'm like, what the fuck? I'd look around, there'd be nobody there at all. I'd look outside, nobody's outside. It was just, and it was so, and it was, I can't remember or I couldn't make out what they were saying, but I could hear the whispering like it was happening right next to me. And that happened probably 3 or 4, maybe even 5 times altogether in that 1.5 year period. And then my girlfriend also claimed that happened to her as well a few times in the same kind of environment too. I'd be gone, the kids would be gone, she'd still be in bed. And it's only when I was by myself, and same for her. Jesus fucking Christ! Whew. Sorry, my friend fell. That was totally an accident. I thought it might fall though, so it's probably not ghostly. It's just it wasn't set up very well. I just put her up there before I started this thing. But Jesus Christ. All right. So anyway, so we just hear little stuff like that, and then there was another time where I saw her again. Now me and my girlfriend are in bed again, and this time my bedroom light is on, and she is asleep. I am awake, and I'm watching a different part. Like we're on different sides of the bed too. Like the first time I saw the ghost, I was on the other side of the bed than what I am now. So now I'm against the wall. Not that it matters. It's just that's a detail that I remember. And my wife now says I get too involved in these details, but whatever. So I'm laying there and watching, I think, Friends again, actually. And this happened, and again, our bedroom light's on. And I happen to look over, and I see this spirit again. The same woman, but this time I just see her head. Like, I just see, like, it looked like she had her, like, hands, like, around the wall, like, kind of peeking in. And this time I freaked the fuck out. Because now I'm a little bit more alert. Now, there's something going on. So here I'm like, holy shit. So I wake my girlfriend up. I'm like, hey, I fucking saw it again. And she was kind of pissy. She's like, why are you waking me up for? I was like, I fucking saw it again. So it was one of them things. So, I mean, definitely it was there. I just freaked the fuck out. I don't think I slept well that night. Yeah. So that happened. And then I'm trying to remember, like, more details. Then we got a cat at one point. We got a cat. And he liked to run around the house like cats do. He was, like, not a baby kitten, but he was teenage cat, I guess. I don't really know. But, and at one point, for this story, we were all in the living room. Me, her, the 3 kids, we're all in the living room. And the hallway bathroom is not too far. I mean, it's just the living room, the hallway begins, and then the bathroom is, like, right there. And we're all sitting there, and in this bathroom there is it's like a glass door for the shower. And so we're all sitting there, and all of a sudden we hear this door just fucking slam shut. Like, it sounded like somebody just, like, slammed this glass door shut. It didn't break, but I thought it did at first. We just heard it slam. Like, what the fuck? So I run in there, and the cat is inside the shower now. Freaked the fuck out. The door is, shut, obviously, slammed shut. There's no way this cat could have done it. Even if somehow he would have jumped, like, from the sink to the door, there is no way this little cat could have had that much force to close the door with that much might. It was insane how loud and how hard that shut was. So I run in there, open it up. The cat's freaked the fuck out. He bolts, so it was kind of wild. And then we also had some video footage and audio. Actually, I don't have it. My girlfriend at the time, took it. I don't talk to her anymore, so I don't have it. I wish I did now, but this is how many years ago. But we had some video and audio of the boy, her youngest kid, his bathroom or his bedroom door opening and closing. Like, we'd just be sitting there, and the door would open, and then it would close. Open, close. We actually had video of it doing that, opening and closing by itself. It was fucking insane. And so at this point, we're pretty aware there's something going on. We're just thinking, it's a haunted house. There's an old lady in here that used to live here or whatever. I researched the house a little bit. Nothing. I didn't find anything regarding anybody dying in the house or any people who used to live in the house. Nothing. So, and there's a lot of little stuff that happened in between August of 2014 to June 2015, and that's where it kind of climaxes. And now I know I should have written some stuff down, because I know I'm forgetting stuff. That's the big jump. But there's a lot of little stuff like that. I keep saying that, I know, but that's just there's so much little stuff. Doors opening and closing. Oh, we had lights turning on and off. I remember at one point I was sitting on the couch, looked down the hall. I just happened to be looking down the hallway, like where my bedroom was, and I just happened to see the if I can fucking talk now. That doll falling still kind of startles me, but I saw the light just turn off by itself. It's like, what the fuck? So I got up and I walked down there to see. Sometimes the lights aren't turned off all the way, or not, flipped all the way, so they're still kind of teeter tottering. Well, maybe that's what it was. So I checked it. Nope, it was all the way down. Just a lot of stuff like that happened. TVs turn on and off by itself, randomly. That's happened to me a lot, actually. That was one of the first times, so that's why I remember it more than other times. But yeah, so that just happened quite a bit. And then I got to the point where I started feeling that feeling. I remember at a certain point I started coming home at night, and it felt dark. And it wasn't like that at first, but as time went on, it got darker and darker. I think that's the important thing here, is it didn't happen right away. It's not like I moved into a haunted house. I moved into a demon-possessed house. No, I think whatever was there kind of started creeping in right after we moved in. And I have my own theories on why, or if it was attached to something or someone. But I think it just got, stronger and stronger as we were there. And so it climaxed. Well, there's a couple of climaxes. So at one point during the school year, too, the youngest boy, he was in kindergarten, and it was half day. And if I was off work that day, I would pick him up at noon or whatever, and then we'd, hang out. I'd let him do his thing. I'd do my thing, play PlayStation, work around the house, whatever. And I remember at one point I was in the living room doing something. He was in his bedroom playing, and I heard him talking to somebody or something. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. So I got up and walked to his bedroom and just watched him. He was in the middle of the floor playing, and he was talking to something that was right across from him. Like he's having a conversation with another kid who was there, but obviously there's nobody there. It's very Conjuring a little bit. But so I was looking at him and I was like, huh. Didn't think anything of it at this point. I just thought he was talking to himself, imaginary friend or whatever. And then he turned and looked at me, and then had that smile on his face, like, oh, you caught me. So then I was like, who are you talking to? Like, what's going on? And he's like, nobody. I'm like, well, you're talking to somebody, interrogate him a little bit just to see if he'd tell me his imaginary friend or whatever. And he's like, oh, I'm talking to Bub. I'm like, well, who's Bub? He's like, he's my friend. I was like, well, where is Bub right now? And then he kind of pauses, and then he points at the toy chest. And he points at the toy chest. He's like, there. And then he was like, come play with us. And I was like, nah, I'm good, thank you though. And then I just fucking go back to the living room, because I don't deal with that shit. It's like, if there is something there, they're doing their thing, no need to get involved on that one, right? So yeah, that happened. That was kind of creepy. That was something unique. And other things happened. This little stuff like that happened for a while, and then it got kind of dark. And at one point we have a well, I think this part comes first, actually. I'm trying to keep it in order the best that I can, but that's probably not going to be the case. So here's where climax is again. So June of 2015, her kids are going to go to their grandparents for like a month or two for the summertime to hang out and do their thing. So we all hung out the night before they left. We all five sat in the living room, watched a movie. Mary Poppins, not that it matters. And I remember thinking, wow, I used to love this movie when I was a kid. Now it kind of sucks. So yeah, Mary Poppins kind of blows as an adult, but I loved it as a kid. Man, we're all sitting there watching it. And I remember it being super hot, which is fair. It's June, and it's always hot in June. But right now it's May, and I'm freezing my ass off. I remember it being abnormally hot. So there's that. So we're doing that. And then we go to bed. Movie's over, and it's kind of late now at this point. It's probably midnight or 1. And we're in bed now. And this time the bed is in a different spot than it was when I saw the ghost. Oh, real quick, shit, sorry. It's important though. Cutting back, before this story, My girlfriend at the time, she also saw the ghost again. She says she was in the living room and she saw the same thing that I saw earlier. She was in the living room in the middle of the day, and she saw the lady with long black frizzy hair peeking around the corner from the kitchen. So basically, the exact same thing that I saw from in the bedroom from the hallway. Now she saw from the kitchen, or in the living room from the kitchen. So we both saw the see-through ghost lady twice. Okay, so sorry. Now back to this story. So now we're in the bedroom. It's midnight or 1 o'clock. It's really hot, pretty late, and now we moved the bedroom around because women like to do that for some reason. I don't know why, but so we had the bedroom moved around, and now it's the wall, the bed, and then the door all next to each other. While before we were across the room. So yeah, I'm laying there. I'm against the wall. My girlfriend is on the side of the bed, and then the door. So we're laying there, hot. I can't fall asleep because it's hot as shit, and I don't remember the TV being. The TV might not even been on. I don't remember. Typically, I sleep with the TV on, so I'm not sure why it would have been off, but I don't think it was on. And all of a sudden, I'm just laying there, quiet, and all of a sudden, my girlfriend at the time starts like fucking pulsating and making like the craziest noise. I'm gonna try to impersonate it here. It's probably gonna be butchered as I'm not a voice actor, but it was like a oh sound. That's kind of what it sounded like. Oh, like yeah, oh, like that over and over and over again. And at first, I think she's just like sleep talking. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm looking at her. I'm like, haha. And it keeps happening. It's getting more desperate now. I'm like, oh shit. So I kind of start shoving her, trying to wake her up. And then, I shit you not, she starts to like slide up the wall a little bit. Like she's laying there and then starts sliding to the bed frame. And then starts sliding up the wall. I mean, not like that dramatic. It was very slow, but she started to go up. I was like, what the fuck? So I jumped on her at this point. I jumped on her, and I woke her up. She woke up, and she freaked the fuck out. She didn't tell me anything. She just jumped the fuck out of bed, got her phone, ran outside, called her mom. I was like, that's fucking weird. And she's on the phone for probably 2 hours. So I think it's like 3 a.m. at this point. And she comes back, and then she tells me that happened before. And her version of that, I told you what I just saw. Her version was she was also awake, hot, couldn't sleep, and then all of a sudden she got into a paralysis-like state, kind of like sleep paralysis, but it wasn't sleep paralysis. But she got in a paralysis-like state, and then she heard a grinding sound coming from the living room, and she said it sounded like a garbage disposal, like a rah, 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 rah. And she said she heard it coming from the living room, down the hallway towards the bedroom. It came through the door, hit the bed, jumped over her, jumped over me, hit the wall next to me, came back over me, landed on top of her. And so when she was doing that all noises, it was her trying to wake up, but she couldn't, and that thing was on top of her. And then it started to drag her up the wall. And that's when I jumped on her, and then it went away. I don't really know what happened to it after that. So that happened. And then she told me that she called her mom right away because when she was in high school, that had happened once before. And only the one time, but as soon as it happened again, she recognized it and freaked the fuck out, as I think anybody would, really, right? So, yeah, so her kids still went to that place the next day, wherever they were going. And we have a mutual friend from where we used to work together who's into the paranormal stuff. She's very, very into it. Very nice, very awesome lady. She uses spirit boxes and stuff, and that's the first time I ever learned what a spirit box was. But we called her. It was like, hey, this is going on, and what do you think? And she was like, well, so again, this part is kind of, I don't remember if we called her before this part or not, but she said that she would not come out and check out the house because she does not deal with demon stuff. And from the description that we gave her, she felt like it was a demon, so she bounced. However, she gave us a number of somebody to call, like a paranormal investigation team, basically. So we did. So she called that person, and meanwhile, our mutual friend was like, I'm still going to use my spirit box and try to talk to whatever is in your house to see if it is a spirit or whatever. I won't go there physically, but I'll use a spirit box to see if anything comes through. So there's that. And then, there after that, she texted me in the video and was like, "Hey, do you know so and so and so and so?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do know so and so." She was like, "Well, they're coming through me on the spirit box." And, one of the names specifically, I'm not going to say it because it doesn't matter, but one of the names specifically, I was like, "Holy shit. That's, yeah, there's no way you would know that person." So, yeah, it's probably legit. And this is kind of the first time. So I've always kind of believed in the paranormal and believed in spirits and stuff. I've had seen stuff way before this, but this was the first time it was like in my face. Like, yeah, it's all the time now. It's in your face. It can't not be real. Like, if it's real, I'm fucking insane. Or if it's not real, basically. If it's not real, I'm fucking insane. So, but yeah, so that happened, and so we get the paranormal investigators come, or the one guy, the lead guy, comes out. We talk, we conversate. He does his little investigating of the house, or run through, I guess. And he's like, "Yeah, there's probably something here. I'll get my team together, and we'll come out on Saturday, and we'll do like a real investigation. We'll set up all this stuff like you see in Ghost Hunters, whatever." So cool. And then, so between that and the investigation, our mutual friend got back to us, and she was like, "So I did some spirit boxing, and there are at least two spirits in that house. One of which is Stella, which is the old lady who we've both seen twice. The white gown with black frizzy hair. Her name apparently is Stella." And then she said there is another spirit named Nick, and Nick has a Facebook memorial page where, I guess, her talking to Nick, he like told her how to find this page to prove it was him. So that happened. So yeah, so those apparently are the two spirits in the house. And then here's where it gets weird, and here's where I'm probably going to start losing you if you don't believe in this kind of shit. But that's what happened, so I'm going to tell you. So then she's like, "Well, there's also another entity in that house that's not human," which I guess in this case would be a demon. And this spirit, known as Bub, is why Stella's hanging out. Apparently, she is trying to protect the house. I'm sorry, I'm hearing banging outside. That's the lawnmower, though, so it's nothing paranormal. But so yeah, so I'm sorry. So yeah, so demon apparently is in this house. Stella came to this house to try to protect the family, I guess. I don't really know. And I just realized I forgot another important part of the story. So going back before, well, you know what? That part's not really important. It doesn't need to be said because it's not my kid. But so something happened with the youngest son that made us think there's something going on. Apparently, the Bub was talking to him and telling him to do some mean stuff, and he told us what Bub told him to do. That's the gist of it. And so then I talked to his sisters about it, and they're like, "Yeah, he's known Bub for a while. We talked about Bub before we knew you, that kind of stuff." So, so we talked to our friend, and she tells us there's Stella, there's Nick, there is Bub, which is a demon. All right. So there's three entities in this house, two of which used to be human or are human entities, and one is a demon. Sure, why not? And then, so the investigators come out, and also when the investigator was here just to do the check on the house or whatever to get ready for the investigation, he said he heard growling in the backyard, which I found to be bullshit. And I honestly not sure how I feel about the growling anyway. I hear that in other stories too, where they hear growling, and apparently that's a demon thing. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But again, I don't really believe everything I hear at the same time, because otherwise, if you do, you're a fool, right? So I don't know about all that, but he said he heard growling in the backyard. I never did. So on that Saturday night, the investigators came out, and they did a full-blown investigation, as you see on Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures or whatever. They had motion sensor cameras set up, motion sensor lights set up. They had audio all around the house. They had K2 meters just like this one all around the house. And then just turned into a waiting game. It was actually kind of neat to see him set up, but at the same time, I wasn't that impressed with this team. The lead investigator guy, I forget his name, doesn't matter, but I liked him. But his team, I think there was two other guys and a girl, and they were all silly. I don't want to use the word hillbilly, but that's the word that I probably should use. They were kind of hillbilly, redneck. I felt like they were uneducated. I felt like I knew more than what they were doing. I was like, I felt like, and again, I never did any kind of paranormal investigation in my entire life. I was like, you shouldn't do it this way. That's fucking stupid. That's how I was feeling. Which I probably do a lot anyway, and I shouldn't because I don't know shit. But, I didn't like them. I thought they were stupid at the end of the day. So we were all hanging out doing their thing, and they were trying to talk to the ghost, trying to get a hit, and they weren't really getting anything. I think the motion sensor went off one time in the youngest boy's bedroom, which is where all that stuff was going down at anyway, door closing and stuff. We had one hit in there, I think. And then in our bedroom, we had the K2 meter going off, which, again, for those of you on video, this is what a K2 meter is, and this just lights up. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you probably know that already. But yeah, so that went down. And then, here's where it gets kind of cool, because we didn't tell our mutual friend that these guys were coming this day. Like, she gave us their number, and, we told her, yeah, we'll call them. But we never, followed up with her about them. So she did not know that they were at our house this night. And then we even asked her later on, and she's like, I had no idea. I'm just doing my thing. But so, during this investigation, probably around 10, 11, maybe even midnight, I don't think it was that late. It might have been 11 or 12. She texts my girlfriend, and she's like, hey, are those guys at your house right now? And she's like, yeah, actually, yeah, they are. And she's like, well, I was using my spirit box, and Stella came through and said that she's not going to come out and talk to these investigators or whatever. She's not going to come out and talk because all they're doing is trying to make fun of her. And she's like, whoa. So apparently Stella was in the house with these investigators, but then went all the way across town to tell her, using the spirit box, she won't come out because they're just trying to make fun of her. So she shows me that text conversation, and I'm like, I don't know if we should tell these guys that or not, because again, I didn't trust these guys. I thought they were idiots. I was like, I wish I had their equipment and not them. I feel like it would be way, way better transition or way better conversation. No, we did. We ended up telling them that. So we're like, hey, this just happened. And then the one lady was like, yeah, bitch, I will make fun of you. Just like, Jesus, that's not how you try to communicate with the fucking spirit world, dude. It's just not. I hate that fucking, I'm going to call them out. I'm going to be an asshole, blah, blah, blah. I'll talk to me then. It's like, no. And that can be a whole different podcast conversation of why that's not the best way to go. But it was really annoying. So then we gave the K2 meter, or they gave the K2 meter to my girlfriend, and she started asking questions, and it started lighting up like no other. I mean, it was pretty wild. So, yes or no questions, that kind of stuff. And that was really about it. Nothing else happened during that investigation. I think the fact that, the Stella spirit talked to the other person across town was pretty wild. But yeah, so then the investigation wrapped up and they left, and I was like, they were fucking stupid. And then the next night, we went to her friend's house and actually used her spirit box. And this was the first time I've had any encounter with any kind of spirit box. I'd never even heard of it before until this conversation or this little thing, started going on. So I was like, oh, so we used it. And again, I was still kind of skeptical at this point. I was like, I don't know what the fuck a spirit box is. It's like a radio, because all we're going to be doing is hearing radio DJs and songs and shit like that. We're not going to hear anything real. That was my take of it anyway. So we sat down. She tells us how it's going to work or whatever. So it's the three of us now. And she flips that thing on, and immediately I hear, Ben? I'm like, whoa. And then a mutual friend was like, do you know Ben? And the voice was like, yeah, I know Ben. I'm in that house. Or whatever. I don't even remember exactly what she said, but she's like, yeah, I know Ben, I live with him, or something like that. Something along those lines. And it was Stella, apparently. So then she's like, is this Stella? And she was like, yeah. And then at this point, here's where it got scary, man. It just got my belly dropped, because that happened. And then right after that, I heard a shit ton more voices come through, cussing, saying cunt, fuck, just anger voices. And then our friend was like, hey, this is for, happy people who know these guys only. If you're angry, demon, mean, whatever, blah, 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 get out. So she had to bounce some ghosts. She had to bounce these ghosts. But, so that worked, and they kind of stopped. And then Nick, also the Nick character, came through, and she showed us the obituary Facebook page for this dude. Kind of weird, And apparently he said during this conversation that he was just kind of hanging out just to have fun. I don't know, do pranks or whatever, I guess. But then Stella was there to trying to prevent Bub, and that's pretty much all I remember from the Spirit Box sessions. This was probably again still I think in June, maybe July when all this shit went down, and we move out in October, so that happened in this like midsummer, and then we did that whole Spirit Box thing, and after that things kind of settled down. The kids were gone, and things settled down. There wasn't really a whole lot going on for the rest of the summer. We would still hear doors opening and closing, but with the kids being gone, it really was not crazy. And then fall came around, and at this point, we decided to split up. I think it was September. We decided to break up, maybe August. I don't really remember. Late August, early September. So we lived together for about a month or two, broken up. And nothing crazy again happened. But one thing that was pretty wild was the smoke detector started to beep. And we had 3 or 4 throughout the house, right? And they'd all start beeping. And we would change the batteries, and then 3 days later they'd beep again. And it could be a faulty wire and they're draining batteries. I don't know, but it was weird that happened. And then the kids came back because they had to start going to school or whatever, and that's when the shit started going up again. I remember I went camping once in that fall, and we hear I got a video of the door banging, closing, opening, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so when the kids came back, it got a little bit wild again with the opening and closing / turning off, just that little shit. I didn't see a ghost again. But yeah, so we decided to, the lease ran out, we moved away, and so, we packed up without any real issue. But I remember the last day we got all the shit packed up. She was gonna go her way, I was gonna go my way, and it was like the last time we were in this house, and all of the smoke detectors, if I can talk, all of these smoke detectors started beeping like simultaneously, like beep 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 all around the house. It was crazy. So we were laughing at this point, like because we were kind of over it. Like all of the stress that we were under was gone now. Like we're leaving, fuck it. Especially with me, because I know nothing's following me. So I'm like, fuck yeah. So we were literally laughing at these smoke detectors going off, and then we left. And I moved into my apartment by myself, and all of that negative energy that I was feeling, that tightness in your stomach, was gone. And I'm telling you, dude, like probably that whole year that I lived there, from especially 2015 on, it was just, I remember I'd pull up to the house at night, I could just feel something watching me from the window. I could just walk in, and it just felt like a wave of negative energy as you walk in. I mean, there's definitely, I'm thinking back of it now even, I'm like, man, there's something, I can still feel whatever was watching me from back then. It was fucked up. I mean, looking back, it was pretty fucked up. And, I wish I was more aware of it back then. But yeah, it was wild. It was, I mean, I guess saying it out loud, it doesn't seem as crazy as I make it out to be. But just feelings are boring. People say with their feelings, that's not juicy. But just, the door closings, the seeing the ghost, her and I seeing it 4 times between the two of us, with lots of validation, and other people seeing it too. We had friends come over, they would hear shit, see shit. We had it on camera. We had fucking paranormal investigators actually come out and agree there was something there, with some little hits, spirit box shit all together. Like, when you put all of this stuff together, it's like, man, that was a crazy house. And my theory with that is, I don't think the house itself was haunted. I bet you if we talked to the previous residents of that house, there were no paranormal activities. And then I bet you if we talked to whoever lives there now, there'd be no paranormal activities. I truly believe that whatever was in it, especially the negative stuff, was in it, and it was probably attached to my girlfriend at the time, or one of her kids, from whatever reason. And I know she said that happened to her in high school. If I was a betting man, I don't know. I never asked her. We never really talked about it. But if I was a betting man, she got involved in something, or, somebody got involved with something, and something got attached, and it followed her there. And I'm a firm believer that ghosts aren't necessarily, in a house to haunt a house. I think they can roam. I have my wife and I, Danae. We have plenty of roaming ghost stories that we'll get to. We've talked about some. We'll get to more. So it's very possible. And Stella says she was there to protect the family or the kids from Bub. So if I was a betting man, Bub was there, and I said, when the kids came in, that's when it started feeling a little bit darker. So they probably moved in. Well, Bub probably moved in around that same time. Stella was like, "Oh, I want to go in here and protect this family because I like kids," that kind of thing. It sounds like a fucking movie, it's like book, whatever. But that's what I honestly, truly feel happened. I don't think the house was haunted. I feel like the family was haunted, and I feel like Stella and maybe even Nick. I'm not sure where Nick really comes into this or why he was hanging out, but I feel like they were there to try to kind of soften the blow, be kind of a ghost protector or a ghost bodyguard. So that's my opinion. That's my 2014 through 2015 ghost story. This is my first time telling it on video, and actually my first time doing a podcast on video. But again, for you people like me, it's also on audio. Hope you all enjoyed it. Tell me what you guys think. Leave me comments, hit subscribe, do all that bullshit. Tell me your stories as well. If you want to be on, feel free to be on. I'm telling you guys though, I am behind. I have 3 interviews that I have done that need to be uploaded, and I have 2 more scheduled. So I'm probably not going to be scheduling any more interviews for at least another month or 2 because I am backlogged. I underestimated how many hits I would get, I guess, if that makes sense. So I need to get a little bit underworked here. I need to get my shit in order before I can continue doing more interviews. But if you want to be on, just let me know. Hit me up on Twitter at Axtivities. That's AXE-tivities. You can find me on Facebook at Paranormal Activities. My last name's Axe. You can check me out on iTunes or Google, iTunes, Apple Music is what they're calling it now. Apple, Google, Stitcher, TuneIn, where to get your podcasts, all that good stuff. And I think that's really all I have for you, man. So I really appreciate you all listening, watching, both, whatever. Let me know what you think. What can I improve on? What, should I stop saying certain words like fuck or, whatever? I don't care. You can tell me if I suck too. That's cool. And also, if you're a fan of wrestling, check out my wrestling podcast I do with Josh DeBoard, Phillips Stover, Michael Bennett, and Yvonne DeBoard. It's pretty fun. It's on all the same platforms. We're gonna start going live here too. We're gonna do something. I don't fucking know yet, but yeah, check it out. And it's called Regularly Scheduled Hostilities. And I think that's all I have. So let me know what you guys think, and let's just keep learning about the paranormal together.